Hello, I'm Deacon Andy Saunders, and I'm here with my good friend, Deacon Ray Duplechain. We're here at the Research Library at the World War II Museum. It's a gorgeous and beautiful museum, something that is visited by people from all over the world. Deacon Ray, tell us a little bit about why we're here. What is the importance and the connection of the Diaconate with World War II?
So I think it's important for us to recognize the gift that faith remains in all of human history. And certainly in times of strife and war, it does in some way come to the forefront because it questions who we are as humans. This idea of war and this idea of peace and the interplay between those realities. So it's good to be here because now we can at least talk a little bit about and retrace some of the roots of the diaconate in the church since World War II.
Yeah, in particular, the roots come out of the German prison concentration camp, Dachau. As I understand the story, there were about 2,600 priests living in community at Dachau, the largest community of priests. Nearly 50% of them died because of the misery of that camp. But they had this very unique vision of restoring the diaconate because they felt that the church needed an image of Christ the servant.
Absolutely, and not only Catholic, but the other denominations also were singled out by the Nazis because anything that represented institution structure in the church and Christ himself would have been suspect to them. And so there were plenty of other clergy persons from other denominations, but specifically for who we are and our faith stance and our background, the priests at Dachau were put there because it was a severe place and they could keep an eye on them very closely. Unbeknownst to them, they were dealing with men who were well trained, had good, precise minds, and they were able to recreate, if you will, even Mass without any implements of the Mass. A small piece of bread, a morsel of drink. And so it was a beautiful experience for them. And as they went on and as the time moved on in the camp, it became obvious to them that what really was happening, not only in Dachau, but in Germany and that area with the Nazis, was that they were trying to recreate humanity in their own image and likeness. And for that reason, anything that stood in their way was going to be rent asunder. And so the priests realized that when they went back home, if there was ever a home, if they were going to be able to go home, that it would not be what it was. And so the remnant in their faith was that if we can just survive this and go back and begin to recreate the church in a new way, not because it wasn't there before, but they recognized that there would never be enough clergy persons to rebuild the church. And so that's where the laity became key and precise in this. And then ultimately, they looked back to the fathers of the church, the early nascent moments of the church and the restoration of the diaconate to mimic, if you will, or to model what took place in Acts chapter 6 when they appointed those 7 men of good standing in the community.
That's exactly it. After the war, those that survived, they had kept notes of their discussions at Dachau, and some of them wrote articles on that. And in fact, some of those priests later had some influence on Vatican II and the restoration of the diaconate.
Absolutely. The German theologians had a lot to say at the Second Vatican Council. And they were, of course, working out of that model, only removed 20, 25 years from that event, So, yeah, it was an important moment for the church in Europe, and I would say actually in the world,
Because they really had this vision of Christ the servant, and married men who could go into the nooks and to the crannies of society where those that were priests could not go. In our 21st century, that can be the ball field, it could be the barbecue pit,
the grocery
store, etc. So, yes, we're deeply indebted to the vision of those priests in Dachau in that miserable condition and their vision of the renewal of the church.
And so we always remember really that we stand on the shoulders of giants in faith, in civilization, in terms of society and culture. It transcends our understanding of the world as Christians, but it also embraces all of humanity, if you will, the people of God.